Yeah, so I chose Man of Steel this week because I think this movie is criminally underrated. I think it is one of the most underrated superhero movies. I know we like to kind of shit on superhero movies, and rightfully so, because there are a lot of really bad ones, but I do consider it one of my favorite genres all around. And I think that Man of Steel is it's a good movie. I really enjoy this movie. I personally should probably give it a 7, but I'm going to give this movie an 8. I think objectively it's a 7.
Yeah.
My personal enjoyment of this movie brings it to an 8. I think there's a lot of cool shit that happens in it. I kind of like the characters. I like the feel of everything. And I think Henry Cavill was cast like perfectly as Superman. I don't know that they could have got somebody better to play him. It's unfortunate that DC shit the bed with DC when they did.
Yeah. We will talk about
we can talk about franchise business.
we'll talk about the disaster.
They cast the winner with Henry Cavill. I think he played him very well, and I don't think that any of the acting in this movie sucked. Maybe some of the plot points were not hitting 10 out of 10, but technically, other than like the script, I think this movie's pretty goddamn good.
All right. I want to offer a juxtaposing position about Man of Steel.
Yeah.
I think this is probably the worst movie we've watched on the podcast.
Oh,
Start off with that. The last half of the movie felt like an exercise in how good people in 2014 were at CGI. Like the entire last half of this movie was just action scene after action scene, just boom, boom, rubble explosion, boom, boom. Like I do not care.
like a tech demo.
I was going. You know I was going.
An Unreal Engine tech demo.
On top of that, I felt like the dialogue was extremely, extremely bad. It felt like somebody entered like 5,000 lines into ChatGPT and asked it to like give me some epic superhero movie lines, and then they crammed every single one into the movie. And it made the characters feel like they didn't actually like have real personalities. They didn't respond in ways that like actual people would respond. And I just wasn't the biggest fan. There were some positives. Like if I were to like give the bullet points of the plot of this movie, I feel like, I would think like, oh, that's a decent movie, but I don't know. It just didn't really play out for me that well. Probably like a 4 out of 10, I would say.
I'll agree some of the characters are campy, but that's not a huge deal breaker for me. I kind of like campy movies.
It was just they had no depth.
Worst
like
movie
there was
so
there was
far.
no character moments in the back half of the movie. Worst movie we've seen so far by far.
By far.
No, we watched Possession, dog.
Yeah,
Better
can
movie.
watch it.
Chris liked that the most out of all of us.
I'll go for this one, I guess, next. But honestly, I saw this movie when it came out, and watching it again now, I definitely didn't like it as much because I do agree with you, Chris. This movie is a lot of really shitty CGI. Like CGI, I don't think that held up. Like I watched it, was like, wow, this looks like it came out a while.
In 2014, I bet it was epic.
2013.
It was probably amazing.
2013.
It was probably amazing, but that did not age well. And I'm definitely not going to disagree that was my big complaint with the movie watching it again was that I actually would have liked the characters to got to like flesh out more in like their lives. Like if just watching Henry Cavill like be Superman a little more would have been more fun, or be like Clark Kent. But that's why I would probably go 7 out of 10. Like I think Chris is hating kind of hard. Like it's like a good movie. It's not like great, but it's not bad. I mean, it's pretty good. I'm trying to think of a good descriptor for a 7. But I enjoyed it. I have points that I'll talk about later.
Going good.
Someone jump in.
John, do you want to go or do you want me to go?
I don't have too much to say.
Cole looked off for script.
Yeah.
Line.
Was a whiteboard.
I got my notes. I got my notes.
So he knows what to say.
Yeah, I'm a professional podcaster. Okay, I got a script ready. I don't use my brain at all or think at all throughout.
Cole wrote podcast.
Yeah, I kind of find it really funny. yeah, exactly. But I find it really funny that Nate and Sam both gave it a 7, even though you guys shit talk superhero movies every single episode.
Yeah,
and this one is like,
most of them probably would be a 7. I'd say most of them.
This
Okay,
is far
I
worse
mean-
than every Marvel movie.
No, yeah, okay, that's hyperbole.
Well,
Yeah, we'll
that's
get into that
definitely-
later.
Okay,
We'll get it. Yeah, we'll get
The
into
only,
that.
the only hyperbolic part of
thing to
that
say.
sentence was the word every.
That's a
But like the
wild
average,
thing to
the
say.
average, the average Marvel movie is way better than Man of Steel.
The main point of the sentence was the only
No, because
hyperbolic
there
part.
there are later DC movies that are far worse than this one.
Yeah. this is like actually probably the
All
best DC movie. I'm sorry, Cole. Go ahead.
Yeah, we interrupt Cole constantly.
Yeah.
Totally on
But yeah,
fire.
I guess I'll keep it kind of short. I kind of disagree with some of the things you guys were saying. I actually liked the CGI, believe it or not. I don't know. I thought Krypton, like the planet, looked really cool. I thought a lot of the scenes on there were really cool, actually. I wasn't looking for a movie about Superman to look super realistic. I kind of just thought, it did what it needed to do.
Can I just say
Um,
something?
I did.
My
go ahead.
complaints my complaints about the CGI wasn't that it looked bad necessarily, but it was more of it felt like the people who made this movie made it to flex how good they were at CGI. And when the movie's 10 years old, it's not some crazy thing.
Yeah.
And like when the movie just didn't have like a lot going for it outside of that, like I don't care. It was so boring. Go ahead, sorry.
I think for me it's just hard to make a Superman movie where he has like every power in the book and not have it be all action and crazy CGI moments. So I think that's more the character than like the director being like, oh, we have this budget, we have to throw as much CGI as possible. Even though he might have been like that, I don't know. But yeah, I'm gonna give it a 7 because I honestly did. This is my first time seeing it, and I enjoyed it more than I thought I would based on the feedback the movie got when it came out, which I think is kind of what Sam said.
What is the public opinion of
My
it?
main complaint
they
actually,
hate it.
Yours. Yeah, Chris. People
People
hate this
hated on
movie.
it.
They
Good.
hate this
Let's go
movie.
public.
Yeah.
And
hate
you know
it.
what?
Yeah.
You know what?
Yeah.
The reason they hate it is because Justice League sucked, and everybody wants to be like, "Yeah, DC's terrible." They only hate it because stuff afterward was fun to hate on. They didn't hate this movie independently. They're a bunch of fake haters. They're hating for clout.
This movie, I remember it didn't
I
get a lot
haven't
of
seen
love.
Justice League.
It didn't get a lot of love at first
Oh, it's
anyway,
worse, dude.
but it goes back to what we talked about before. I mean, it's not that much different from a lot of the Marvel movies that came out around then that people loved. Like, it's the same
That's-
shit.
Nah,
That's interesting.
Gar-
Give
Guardians
your
of- it's
thoughts.
just like a
'cause-
hive
well,
mind.
Cole had one more thing you wanted to say.
Yeah. I just my main complaint and the thing that held it back from me was like General Zod's decisions just make no sense to me, and he honestly just comes across as really dumb throughout the entire second half of the movie, at least in my opinion. And kind of the same thing with Superman's dad on Earth. His death was really frustrating. How they could have just let the dog out before when they were leaving the car to run away from the tornado. Why didn't the mom let the dog out? And then he would have been fine.
Superman is also
Well, I don't-
Superman is
just-
fast enough to like save the dad without even being seen. So like, what is the issue here?
Chris is gonna get
Not at
super
that point.
nerdy.
Not at that point.
Nerd.
I'm just
like
saying.
16.
Actually,
Oh,
Superman
yeah,
is
you
so
did.
fast he would have grabbed him without.
Yeah.
Like, shut the fuck up,
He
Chris.
couldn't control his
This is-
powers like that back then.
I
It
don't
was a
even
dumb
care.
scene. Grenada
It's a
scene was a dumb
story.
scene.
I don't even care. It's a story.
yeah.
Like
He
his
did
powers
stop
are what you
the-
need him
the
to
bus
be at the
from falling
time. What
into
the
the
fuck
river.
are you talking
No,
about?
but-
He's younger than that, but
He's-
regardless, that's
He's right. There were people making stupid decisions like pretty consistently, and that kind of frustrated me. But other than that, I really liked. I did thoroughly enjoy the movie. I thought it was fun. It did what it was supposed to do.
I'll talk more
yeah, so-
about that shit later. I want to hear John's opinion.
Yeah, I want to hear John's rating.
I'm kind of like, I'm like gonna take the centrist route. I think this is just like kind of like a middle of the road. I definitely liked it a bit more than the last time I had seen it. But like it's not really like that interesting of a movie to me. Like there's not really because like. This gets into the Snyderverse, like what they had planned, the idea of like what it would actually be like for Superman to exist, like how people would actually react to it, like in the world is like an interesting concept to me. And like, the weight of that, the weight of him existing is something that I thought was like a really interesting concept. And like, it's interesting enough here, but there's not really like, there wasn't that much else outside of this that I really like latched onto in terms of like, really getting engaged with. But also like, I don't know, I thought like the fight scenes were fun enough, especially like just like, the complete disregard for like humanity like the last like third of the movie. They're just destroying everything. But
I
like,
will say, I don't think Zach Snyder was the best director for this movie. I think he did some things good, but I don't know that. Oh, we'll get into it later. I'll put that in as a teaser.
Let John do his rating, and then we can talk about whatever.
Yeah, I'm curious.
I need a scale.
Oh yeah, give me a scale. Sam.
Going from a Booster Gold to an Eobard Fawn. What? What is he?
Who are either of those?
You don't know
Eobard Fawn is the Reverse Flash. Yeah. He's actually the biggest hater of all time. And Booster Gold is a guy who
superhero from the future.
He's kind of a douchebag, and he travels back in time because he's jealous he wasn't a superhero. So he travels back in time with knowing the events, so he can steal the thunder and be a superhero.
The future technology to be a superhero. He's a janitor, though.
Oh, dude, that sounds sick.
He's a cool character. He's fun.
He's funny. John's like going
different.
I'll give this
MODOK.
A Black Adam. The Rock Black Adam. I've never seen that.
The movie was not that bad. All right, it wasn't
great. It was all right.
Not that bad.
I didn't see it.
I'm a very big DC fan, so that's probably why I enjoy this movie a lot more.
Did you guys not think the dialogue was ridiculously bad? It felt like it was written by like a little kid or something.
I think at times, I don't think it's always that bad, but for a lot of it, you're right.
The characters never reacted in ways that were normal. Like, oh, Superman's right there. They don't react in ways that are normal. Oh, the mom finds out that the kid Superman. Yeah. The mom finds out that this Superman finally found his like real dad, and her immediate concern is about, oh, I'm gonna lose you now. Like that's not how a mom would react. They would react in a way that puts the kid first, and not herself first.
That's not true. A lot of people wouldn't react like that.
I don't know about that.
A lot of people wouldn't.
No, they would feel joy for the kid because they found.
That's actually a very common thing.
It was like the whole thing about the dad was the dad wanted the kid to find the true meaning.
He wanted him to decide for himself. That's what I was gonna say.
No, the dad directly said at one point that like someday you're gonna find out why you're here, and you know until then just be your best. You decide who you're going to be. And then later on in the movie, the mom just didn't give a fuck. Like she literally didn't give a fuck that he found his parents. His parents are dead. They don't.
Wait, I'm confused. Did you think he literally meant? Wait. Did you think he literally meant that you're gonna find your parents or where you were from? I think he meant that in more of a metaphorical sense of like you're gonna find out why you're here. That's not
the point. The point is the overall
definitely was a metaphorical thing. Like he was like, yeah, you're gonna find a reason why you're here, and you're gonna make that choice. You know, like I don't think he was telling him like, yeah, you're gonna go find the spaceship.
That's not the point of what I'm saying. The point is
that she
they don't react in ways that are normal.
Wait,
she knew that Paul Kent raised him to be his own man, and that now that he found where he was from, he was just gonna all of a sudden switch paths of his life, become like whoever the fuck Kal-El is supposed to be.
Why would he do that?
Not Clark Kent.
Superman has been there the entire time living.
He just spent like a year like following around leads, creating fake identities just to find out all this shit.
People have irrational fears, like you're afraid that they're gonna.
But that's not the first thing you say. Like no matter what,
his last words to his dad were literally. You're not my real dad. I don't even know why I care. It's like it's literally the last.
His last words to his dad was "Dad," and then his dad died. He called him dad. He called him dad. I'm nerding out about this movie because I wanted to get very into the details of why this movie is ass. And I'm here to defend
I don't even understand what you're arguing at this point. You're like
the dialogue is bad. People don't react in ways that are normal.
That's not even true. What are you talking about?
Like literally from the very start of the movie, like the entire time, people when they find out, oh, Superman's real, they don't react in ways that are like traditional. And the only way I can like describe that is by like pulling up clips and like pointing out what that is. But I don't have like clips. I can't do that.
World shuts down. The military starts blowing a bunch of shit up. They try to like. They don't understand him. They don't know where to take his side. They arrest him.
It's not about the overall actions
because he's scared of his safety.
I'm not complaining about necessarily the actions. I'm complaining about the dialogue. The dialogue is trash. Like the dialogue feels like it was written by a little kid.
I mean, I don't even disagree with you. There is a lot of points where I don't think the dialogue is that great in this movie. I just think the one instance you decided to pull up was not that bad.
It was terrible.
I think
Absolutely
you're wrong
terrible.
on that one.
Such a big moment, such an important moment for Superman as a character, and his mom is only concerned about herself. Like that is not a way that a mom would react.
Oh, she's concerned for him. She's concerned for the man he's
She's
become.
concerned that he'll
That's
leave
what it
her.
is. That's where
she's
it stems
concerned for
from.
herself.
Oh,
I
my
think
God.
it's a bit of both.
I mean,
I think it's
She's
both.
proud of
for
her
herself.
boy and the person that
No,
he's
that's
become,
not what it
and
was.
she's
She was-
scared that
she-
he's going to
she's-
give that up.
She immediately started crying because she's like, "Oh no, you're gonna leave me." Like what? That's not how a mom
Yeah.
reacts.
Yeah.
You're going to lose
I
his
mean,
son. She already lost
that
Paul.
is her son. Yeah.
Yeah. I actually,
Aw,
that's
man.
one thing I'm gonna tell you. I disagree with you so much on this because I feel like that's one part of the movie I felt like they put more time into was Clark just being a son to Martha and stuff like that. Like because Superman being a good person is like one of the things that make him such a good character. So, like, the time
Dare I
spent-
say
Yeah.
allegorical to Jesus Christ? It's pretty heavy-handedly implied.
him being a good just a good person besides his powers is one of the most important parts to making Superman
Yeah.
a good character. Or his moral
That's-
problems that his powers can't solve are like the best stories for Superman.
That's a cool way to write. That's just Superman as a character, I think, is why it's so interesting to write, is because Superman, like, when Superman decides to be good, it means more than everybody else. Because if Superman decides to kill somebody, nobody can do anything about it. Like, he just gets to do whatever he wants.
he has
He's-
to be better.
He's choosing to be good, and there are literally no consequences for him choosing to be a bad person. So when he's moral, it means so much more than everyone else. But he's a cool character to write because he's literally like invulnerable. So that you kind of have to write a character heavy movie. So I get why
Well,
Chris's complaints.
I feel like that always goes to like what I think is probably his best like story or comic book or whatever you want to wherever you've seen it. If you ever seen All Star Superman, where where Superman gets cancer and
Yeah, that one's great.
and he knows he's gonna die and he like tries to figure out how to spend his last bit of time he has left. It's the best story ever told. Like it's so fucking good.
Just to like
very
go and make peace with everybody, right?
Yeah,
like,
he has to go
don't
make
him and
peace
Lex
with
Luthor have like a heart to heart?
Well, Lex Luthor in that comic, I'm pretty sure how he ends up losing in the end is he ends up getting Superman's powers and then realizing how much power that really is. He like fucking he gives up finally because like I think he can like hear every person on Earth or something and stuff like that. And he just can't handle it. I can't remember how it ends exactly with Lex in that
I
story.
feel like I
Yeah,
can
I'm
handle
not.
it.
Yeah.
feel like
Another
that's
interesting
kinda
one
like
is
in a movie.
Injustice, where like they're just like, fuck it. You know what? Superman is
Sure,
his
ain't
power
killing
set is way better for him to just be a villain. So like they just make him a straight up
Well,
evil dude.
that's something that that's one I feel like most people fall into that is just like Superman just showing off how strong he is and destroying stuff. And I feel like that's when Superman ends up being a bad character. If you just choose to write him about that, about his strength and being
Yeah.
like the cool kid, he fails because it's nothing interesting. He has no challenges. He's not overcoming anything. He's unstoppable. But when you give him like the moral problems that go beyond his powers, or even if you take away his powers, that's the best stories for him.
I will say the destruction that happens in this movie, I think like not
Not
that
his
it's
fault.
excusable that all those people died, but this is the first fight he's ever been in ever because
Yeah.
he's never fought anybody before because they would have just got destroyed.
And he's
Eviscerated.
literally fighting someone as strong as him. Like
And he didn't even he didn't decide to come out and like reveal himself. Like it was literally like they put a gun to earth.
yeah.
Also,
That-
there's one thing that I have heard. I heard this like a week ago, and I was like, oh, that's like pretty major oopsie by General Zod. They could have just done this shit to Mars. Nobody lives there.
No.
Is there-
Dude,
Why did
don't even
Zod
get me started
specifically
on Zod.
target Earth? It made no sense. Superman's parents were able
I
to find a habitable planet for Superman within like 30 seconds, but Zod couldn't find a habitable planet for all of Krypton.
I think they
fucking
needed,
years?
Phantom Zone, Chris.
I
That
think they
did-
needed
that
the
did-
codex. They needed the codex.
What was it? How did he get out of the Phantom Zone? He
Oh,
literally gave
they-
one line of
that's
dialogue
right.
that
They
was just like,
They built
"I
like a
hyper-
they built like a hyper.
genetic-
They jerry rigged like a
I
hyperdrive or
hypergenetic
something.
through the like. What are you saying?
the
One line
Phantom
of dialogue
Drive?
of how he got out.
Nate, that does explain it. They couldn't have just gone to Mars because they needed Superman. Literally, Superman.
needed the-
They
They
wanted
everything.
Superman.
Can I just say though? Can I just say they could have just asked nicely and he would have.
Oh,
done it. could have just said,
absolutely.
"Hey, we're going to Mars, rebuilding our civilization. Will you help us?" He would have been like, "Oh yeah, that's
They-
fine."
They were
Yeah, but there's
interested.
a lot of
They're
time
interested in
building
the
I don't know.
conquest, though. That's the thing. Is there?
Zod killed his father.
He
Yeah,
didn't know that.
Yeah, he
Superman
did.
didn't-
No, he didn't.
Superman didn't know that.
He did.
Not until he
Russell
told him.
Crowe's ghost told him.
No,
no.
General Zod told him.
Zod told him. Yeah.
Yeah, Zod told him.
Yeah,
Oh
Zod.
shit. Well, Russell
Thomas
Crowe's
Tucker.
ghost
Also-
would have told him.
Also, how did the
probably
Kryptonians
assumed
let
Russell
their
Crowe told him.
civilization die? They have the technology to literally terraform an entire planet
Doesn't make any sense.
to their planet,
Dude,
and they
the
also have
planet
the
is core
technology to like
destabilized.
Well, they
teleport
said.
instantly somewhere else, and they just didn't
Did
do
it?
it.
It
I
destabilized
agree.
for.
No, I agree. It doesn't make sense, but they said at one point that for some reason they had given up space travel and stuff like that. I don't know why.
Wait,
So they gave all that up. That's why they found the world engine on an abandoned outpost that was all like destroyed and stuff.
The-
Because they had stopped doing that. It doesn't make a lot of sense.
The core
Random
of
pieces of dialogue to explain why things happen isn't good. Like that
Yeah.
that is a quality of a bad movie.
Well,
The
we'll,
core-
we'll
the
be
core
talking
of
like that about
Krypton
every superhero movie we ever
destabilized
watch.
for what
They-
reason? Why did it? For what reason was it? I'm just like I don't
They
know.
mined all
He
the
said they
resources.
exhausted all their natural resources, and it caused the planet to destabilize.
Okay.
I don't know. I will say, dude, like the shit that happens on Krypton happens way too long, and it happens uninterrupted. Like the way that they cut Clark's childhood into the rest of the story
That makes sense.
paces
yeah.
it way fucking better. And if they just did that with the Krypton stuff, I feel like it would be
'Cause
way
it-
more
it looks
digestible.
like-
Would have been a way to do
It's
it.
just the first half an
it
hour of
looks
the movie.
like-
The first hour of the movie is all character based, and the last hour of the movie is boom, 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 and that's it. Like, and then character moment,
Yeah.
last 5 minutes, end the movie.
Yeah, because it looks like
Also-
after they send Zod and company to the Zod and the Patriots to the Phantom Zone
The Phantom Zone.
after they get
The
redacted.
heroes.
Good old boy.
The way that it's edited, it looks like the
After they get banned on Twitter.
it looks like the planet just immediately gets destroyed after they do that. The way that it's
No,
edited.
they don't do it. It's definitely. I
It
don't
gets
think it's
destroyed
supposed
like
to be right
immediately
after.
after.
In the movie, it is
It's
like immediately after.
falling apart while they're doing it.
I was like, and I was thinking, I was like, they're like saving them, right? Why are they so focused on this? The planet is getting destroyed, but we have to.
I think
we have
even
to try them in court.
the rulers of Krypton were supposed to be pretty goddamn incompetent because
Yeah.
Russell Crowe was like,
Yeah.
it's not like he was on their side either.
Well, he
Yeah,
he
yeah,
recognized
yeah.
he recognized the problem. Like that was
There
his
was
thing.
also the little fact they put in with the Codex stuff about them being like they're supposed to be like designed with a goal, which is why I think like Zod is so like obsessed with fucking
He's a warrior.
Yeah.
oh yeah. Well, no,
But he literally says it at the end.
He says his purpose is to keep their race going or something. I forget.
Yeah, preserve Krypton. He's like, that's
Yeah.
my sole purpose that he was bred for. Like his,
Can
he
I
was
say
bred
something
for
real
that,
quick?
and like his
Yeah,
generations of
he had
families were
he had to
bred.
state his character
just for
motive
that.
because they couldn't accurately describe it in the.
I
previous
think they
parts
could
of
have
the
left it out, but then everybody would have made fun of it. Like I think that they needed to put that
like,
in there
as he
because
was saying it,
superhero bros.
I'm like, he's literally stating his character motive. Like, what are you like? What is this?
They set it up, but I think that a lot of people would have gone over their heads because
I
again,
don't think so. It was
this is a
understood.
movie for teenagers.
I think it's fine. Let me just point. I
a
think
movie
you
for
can
everyone.
just. I think you can just say shit sometimes, and I think that was like one moment where it was.
Well,
fine
yeah,
because
No,
obviously.
but I already understood his character motive by that point. I understood that he was doing it because he thought he was helping Krypton, and he didn't give a fuck about the people of Earth. Like that was understood.
Yeah, but that wasn't the point. The point is that he literally was designed. Like he didn't like. I don't know whether I felt that
Oh,
was
He
just
said
right,
that was why he was born, but he was designed that way.
Yeah,
is what
no,
you're saying?
they
yeah.
do say that
Yeah.
there's like a system in place
they're
that like,
designed. They're not
it-
born naturally.
it
Remember, They're-
predisposes
Okay.
you to what you're
Yeah,
best applicable to doing in
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's
they like
okay.
give
life.
for your genes,
Can I-
and then you're assigned something.
Cole's
Can I
got
say
a point.
something?
Because I know you've been
Yeah.
chomping at the bit here.
yeah, yeah.
So he was created or like grown to be this amazing tactician and soldier. Okay, they
Yeah.
had at least 6 Kryptonians, or at least 4. I don't know. They showed a decent amount.
There was
on
like
the
6
thing.
of them, I think.
There were 2 halves to the Earth changing machine. Why did they not protect either of them? They all just hung out in the ship. They had the numbers advantage. They could have easily killed Clark
Oh,
at
yeah,
either
that
of the
doesn't make any
stations, but instead they just hung out and watched him destroy it.
Because it was unfair.
They took 1v1s instead of like.
And they
being
got hit.
Yeah.
They got hit by a slow ass human plane when they could have just shot that shit down from a mile away, or just flew through it. Like they.
Will
I
say,
don't understand.
No, I will say that there's
They
shit that don't
train to
make
fight
sense,
like
too.
any other soldier. They didn't train to fight like Superman. I think when you introduce somebody like Superman, like Dude, tactics are out the window. Like,
They
there's
didn't
no
even
like.
try to protect anything though.
No, you're right, bro. They definitely don't. I don't
Yeah,
know
she
why.
was the lady was on the plane, remember? And he fed her own line and
What
then killed her
about
ass.
what about the other half of the machine in the Indian Ocean that was just chilling there? Like,
But
just-
Superman
I
just
forgot.
fought
It
them
was
all the
kind of
time.
just
Yeah,
chilling
for-
there.
About that one, I don't know what.
See, that's where the scenes like don't feel as cool because it's like, wow, this is fucking him up, but it's like it's Superman. He's just gonna not get fucked up in a second.
Yeah.
So
Yeah,
it
I hope
doesn't
you're
matter.
fine.
Was the
Yeah,
thing
it
full of
doesn't-
like kryptonite? Like was
No, I didn't think so. Was it? I don't
just
remember.
had
I
like
think
a
it's just
robot
a big.
Because he
I
was like
assumed that it was.
It was
something
like gravity.
because he kept he was hacking up a lot.
I
during that. He was
assumed
like,
that it was.
It might have been.
It
because it was
simulates-
change in the atmosphere.
Oh, that's right.
Simulates Krypton.
I
not
think
Earth.
one thing
yeah.
that I remember thinking was interesting that they did with the Zod being a warrior thing was like whenever they were fighting at the end. And I think that actually that might be a little bit of why they might not have been defending them, is they didn't even know how to use their powers. Like, so they didn't know how to fly until Zod learns to fly at the end. But Zod, I thought it was cool that Zod, because he's like bred to be a warrior, figures it out like real quick.
Wait, why would they not know how to do that though?
Because they remember it took
It took
Superman a minute
30
to.
years.
Yeah, I also think that's something they fucked up in this movie. Like, why make him 33? Make him like 25.
Yeah.
Like,
That's
he's
probably a
way
Jesus
too old.
parallel.
He's
To be
way
honest,
too
that's
old.
I'm gonna be completely honest. That probably is why.
He's way too fucking old in this movie because that's way too many years of just not helping anybody
Yeah.
when he could have just been helping people.
Yeah.
He didn't care
Yeah,
too
dude.
much.
No, he
Had
no,
to
he,
go, like work on an oil rig and
he,
stuff.
he was he was
helping.
saving people.
He
He
actually
was.
worked on that.
He saved those kids on the bus earlier.
He worked
Yeah,
on the
he was
oil rig
doing stuff.
for 15 years, actually. They forgot to mention that part.
No,
he works everywhere until there's a cataclysmic disaster, and then he has to swap social security numbers.
Or a
immediately.
guy spits on him at a bar, and then he has
Dude,
to move.
I will say,
truck is a
he's
shish
kind
kebab or
of
whatever.
he's kind of a dick at the beginning because not only like after when he swims home, he just steals those people's clothes on the clothesline.
Hey,
Like
he
these
closed
people
it.
can't even afford a washer, and he fucking stole their clothes. And then that guy was being a dick, but he just destroyed like 50 grand of that guy's own money.
Yeah, fuck that guy.
I actually
fuck
just
that
thought
guy.
That was Superman. Yeah.
Hey, yeah,
There,
fuck that guy.
there was that one scene, I don't know, before he like comes out to Zod as like being Superman. When he goes to church and he talks to his priest. I forget what does his priest say to him, but I actually really like it.
Yeah.
He's talking to him about
He tells
trust
him-
him. And he's like, sometimes you just have to take a leap of faith. Trust comes later. And I was like, oh, that was actually a cool scene. When he finally
Yeah.
decides to just be Superman.
There was
I
think that's
do
the
like.
first time he puts on the suit, ain't it?
He put it on earlier. Than that, I
First time
think.
he puts on the suit is way earlier.
Yeah.
Oh.
So it's right after he leaves, right after he meets Ghost Dad.
I thought he didn't put it on then though. And then put it on later.
He,
but
he
maybe-
doesn't
no,
know,
no.
like, fly
What are the
around,
mechanics
yeah.
of Ghost Dad? Like, when does Ghost Dad when can
He's
he
just
show
an
up?
AI.
No, I
He's
was
literally
thinking
just
that the whole
ChatGPT.
time.
In the
They're
ship.
so futuristic, yet they just somehow like couldn't figure out they had to leave the planet. Like what? Like
Yeah.
yeah,
See,
he had this.
That's the thing.
Like an
It
omniscient
could have just.
AI.
It feels stupid,
It-
but at the same time, though, we would also like if we were like the world's gonna blow up in 5 days, no one's gonna believe that shit. No
That's
one's
true.
listening.
If the world ended tomorrow, they'd be like, "Yeah, right. They've been going to space since the '60s. Yeah, right. They didn't leave. Like, yeah."
Yeah.
Like,
But
th-
no,
this
I would
movie-
say they did have another out. Like they could have a recurring theme of where Krypton is destroyed is that Brainiac comes in. He's kind of like DC Thanos. But
Yeah.
Brainiac comes in and he's just like the superpower of the universe, and he fucks up Krypton. And it's like that's a little bit better, and that also sets up further movies. And they could have just said that happened, and then Russell Crowe wanted to leave, Zod wanted to fight, and then that could have been the difference.
That's kind of like in
Um,
in Dragon Ball as well. Like the Saiyan homeworld gets destroyed. Like in the
Dude,
same way.
no, Dragon Ball did this way better though. I don't know if you guys
yeah.
watched. I don't know if you guys watched the Dragon Ball Super Brawly movie, but they did this exact opening.
added
But
to
for
the list.
Dragon Ball, fucking 10
Oh,
times
we
better.
should watch a Dragon Ball movie.
It's
at some
so
point.
fucking good. I would love to watch a Dragon
Dude,
Ball
if
movie.
he puts on a headdress and stands in front of the pyramids, I'll watch it.
he did,
this movie-
he is yoked like.
I was gonna say
Henry
this
Cavill.
movie spends a lot of time. I think too much time. But John, you said you like this. Talking about the moral dilemma of exposing Superman to like the human race.
Oh, I think that's the
Yeah.
best part. Not even
And-
specifically just
I
the
like
human
that.
race.
My thought
just
was
on,
like, what
on
would
Clark himself.
how would we react? Like if you found out the news, like how would we, like actual Earth react to the news of Superman being real. Because I
mean,
don't think it'd be that much of a moral dilemma.
I'd just be kind of concerned whether he was chill or not. Like if he's a chill guy.
Yeah,
It's-
I just hand
it's
him a
literally
beer and
that
see what he
size.
does.
I mean, it's kind of crazy for you to say that because if there was literally someone like Superman that could just destroy, I'd be a little concerned. I might have to
think-
act. If
Also,
I think the
learning there's intelligent
militaries are
life,
probably trying.
like outside of the planet is kind of crazy.
I'd be
Yeah.
excited. I'd think like, wow, the world is way cooler than I thought it was.
Because
sorry,
like
Sam.
the thing is, you do risk, like how we see at the very end of the movie, is like you do risk like the well, I don't know what the word I'm looking for is the collateral
Surveillance.
the collateral of like,
Yeah.
okay, you know, he does defeat the bad guy, but at the cost of
So
you
many
know,
people.
a lot
died.
of people getting caught in the crossfire. You know, like that's the thing you
Yeah,
have
well,
to
I think
contend
that
with.
is part of the movie, though, is to the weight of being Superman. Like, so it's gonna get destroyed if
And
Superman.
he
has to
does
fight and
realize it,
stuff.
I think, at the end a little bit.
Well, I think that's the point when he's fucking has
Yeah.
to kill Zod. That's him.
To be fair,
I always think that is him like fully accepting like what it takes to be Superman now. Like he literally
That
has
sets
to
up
kill a guy.
actual horrible movie, Batman versus Superman.
Oh yeah.
It
Where-
sets it up so good.
I will give them credit to use like that's the reason Batman doesn't like Superman is because he like seems to
He was there when it
his
happened.
perspective that he disregarded like all the life in Metropolis, and that's why Batman wants to kill Superman. But dude, that movie's like such a rabbit hole. That would be a fun one to make fun of. But that movie's like, Chris, if you thought this was bad, you're God, dude.
Oh, I've,
like,
I've seen Batman versus Superman, and I think I prefer it slightly to this.
No.
that's-
At least it's like based off my
I'm gonna
memory.
be honest,
I watched it when
I don't
I
hate
watched it when
Batman.
it came out. I don't know.
that is the hottest take I've ever heard.
I
in my
don't
entire
have
life.
this side by side comparison. I have the
Yeah.
when did that movie come out? Like 6 years ago,
2016.
2016.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But
7 years ago. Yeah, I don't know.
I think the moral like question of what like Clark coming out like saying he's Superman being a big deal in this movie is very interesting too. Like he's gonna have to give up his whole life if he like reveals to the world he's Superman, and that's why I think it's interesting when his dad's like just let me die. I'll let you like give you the time to figure it out before you're stuck doing that.
You know,
Yeah, if
like
they would have set the
shouldn't have
death up a little
died.
better,
It's okay.
if they would have set it up a little better practically, like that's a perfect moment for Pocket.
Yeah, I mean,
like,
I
that's
think
such a good.
I think the story leading up to it makes no sense, but I think the moment's great.
know-
like I think the
Yeah,
plot of the
don't-
dog getting stuck in the car.
the
is pretty
thing
dumb.
is,
What is the
Did you not
messaging
see
though?
the
Like,
Dave
be who
Dive
you want to be.
tornado? Like
No, he's just a good.
What's the messaging?
Like he wants his kid to learn. Like
What's the
learn
moral?
on his own pace? Like he's
What's
not
the moral?
forcing him to do either.
What do I take out of this? What's the moral?
he's sacrificing his own safety for his sons. That's really just what it is. Is because he's willing to die so
he
that
doesn't need
Clark's
to do
life
that.
doesn't become a living hell.
I mean,
but it won't be
Yeah,
a
he
living hell.
does.
he's
Like,
choosing to
can it
give
still
his time-
happen?
Well,
I don't think.
Why?
I think you're taking it as he had to do it. He didn't have to
He's
do it. He
Superman.
chose to do it. It benefited him more. His kid didn't want to have to live that life. Like his kid was still figuring out who he was, so he gave him that time. Even though he didn't have
Yeah.
to, he chose to give him that
But-
time.
in that scene, Clark is like 16, 17. It's hard to tell because they didn't
Yeah,
like,
he looks like a
cast a different
23-year-old
actor.
Henry.
he looks like the 33-year-old guy.
But yeah, he's like a teenager, and
He's just
fucking-
sassy, and you just assume he's a teenager.
Yeah. Yeah.
the thing I wonder is that
well, I think
um,
in every storyline, I think Clark's dad dies while he's in high school. But anyway, go ahead, John.
because it makes me wonder because that's such an important like thing, a recurring thing is the idea of like, you know, he can't reveal himself yet. He can't do it. And it makes me wonder like the inclusion of the glasses at the very end, like the Clark Kent glasses. Where can
Hey,
you,
it's proven that works. It's proven
like,
that works.
I know, and that's the thing. I like that's always been the thing, and I get it, but like, and you know, those kind of particular details, like, oh, if he can do this, why can't he do that? You know, like, or can ruin everything. But like it seems like something that could have been fixed so long ago. But I don't
Yeah,
know.
the
Worst
dad didn't have to
disguise
die.
ever.
All he had to do was wear glasses.
He could have got some glasses.
Oh, that's my favorite line in the whole movie is when Lois Lane sees him and she says, "Welcome to the planet," because he's he's an alien, but it's
He's
the
an
Daily
alien.
Planet.
He was
We
really
didn't
good.
even talk about Lois Lane. Lois
She
Lane
was
is
one
like
of my favorite
the best
characters.
character in this movie. Yeah.
Yeah.
She's like legitimately like right from the get-go, she's like she kind of plays like just a standard reporter, but she's clearly like the smartest person in the room, or at least the most cunning, maybe not smartest, but like she like clearly is like outwitting and like, you know, lying by omission to get around certain things. Like she's really, really good at what she does.
She's ballsy.
And Amy Adams plays her really well. Yeah.
I had a question about her actually. Do you guys think she should have died when the plane crashed into the spaceship? Because I kind of thought it was kind of lame how she just
No.
conveniently fell
can't
out.
kill
for a
Lois
time.
Lane.
No,
It's
yeah.
a fucking superhero movie. Cool.
Yeah, I don't care.
All right.
Oh,
You gotta
you
get
haven't
it.
seen
I
the
wanna see
bat
them all
scene
die.
in Justice League.
It was just so convenient. I was like, okay, this is like, I don't know. It was a
She
little
also just kind of
ridiculous.
like showed up places. Like she just showed up at like
Can't-
the end, in like the end scenes after like everything happened. She just kind of shows up.
Yeah, like the
When
police
he
dropped
goes
off
back to
there.
his mom's house, she
Dude,
just kind of shows up.
How good is the soundtrack in this movie, by the way? I was just thinking
yeah.
about that.
The music very much captured the idea of hope. I felt like that was a hopeful score. I think Hans Zimmer
When
did
he
this.
takes
Like
flight,
he kind of
yeah,
nailed
he,
it.
he's
did,
good.
he did. When he
Yeah.
when he the flight scene when he first takes flight with the music, dude, that's so fucking good. I'm trying to. There was
What were you
another-
gonna say?
I was just gonna say, like, I did really like the this rendition of like Superman's theme, like that plays at the very end.
Yeah, yeah, it's pretty goddamn good.
But don't you think like if it was used a little bit less, it would be more impactful?
Used like
Do you think it was oversaturated?
No,
Yeah, it
I
was
don't think
extremely
so.
oversaturated. That's a great word.
I think that's fair.
I didn't get
was-
that feeling from it, but
I think it was so
don't know.
good that I enjoyed it.
it was something that
every
I
second
like
of it.
didn't really like even kind of
That's
like
my opinion.
consider it. So I don't know. I usually do consider that those kind of things like the appropriateness for when to use music and when not to. But I guess I didn't really feel it here.
I think it's so necessary in a superhero movie that you kind of got you got to ham it up a little bit.
But like
I will say I do actually I like General Zod in this movie though. Like I think what's his name? Who's the actor that
Michael
plays him?
Shannon.
I think he does a
Yeah.
good job.
Well, yeah, he's
I
a
think-
fantastic
Especially when he
actor.
acts like he's acting like fucking crazy. I think he does it so
He
well.
does do a good job.
There's a really
All the
like
acting is
there's a
really good.
one scene when Clark is about to like laser up the ship when he like legitimately switches from this like cocky or not, maybe not cocky, but like clearly confident and capable general to when he's like pleading to Clark to not destroy everything. Like
Oh,
he
yeah.
very quickly becomes so desperate and he knows like Clark is going to win. I have to like beg him to not do this. That's one of my it's only like 10 seconds long,
Yeah,
but
no.
it was like my favorite part.
After right after that, when he's like kneeling in the rubble of the stuff he destroyed, and that's when he like
Yeah.
talks about how he was designed to preserve their race at all costs, and he like he flips out on him. He's like, "You took everything from me, and now I'm gonna take it from you." That's so good. I actually really like that part because he's just losing it.
Yeah, very clearly just like filled with rage, just not caring about anything, just trying to kill like everything.
Yeah,
he can.
and Clark's flying at like right after that, and because he doesn't know how to fly yet, he just climbs up the building like super fast. It's actually
he
insane.
fucking gorillas up the
Yeah,
building.
just like a panther, dude. It was crazy.
I will say that fight scene has one of my favorite shots. Like it's like a classic Superman shot where like he goes to punch and the camera like follows his fist,
Yeah.
and then it switches to the other side
I
and
did
follows
like
his
that.
fist. I love that shit. It happens like a lot, but it's so good.
Yeah, I mean, I like the final fight in this movie between them. The
I-
world engine stuff for me is what drags on more than anything.
Yeah.
They handled the Krypton stuff kind of shitty.
I'm
Better than
curious.
better.
Why did Zod take off his armor during the last fight, like for no reason?
I think 'cause
doesn't need it.
I think you couldn't fly with
Doesn't
with
need
it either. Though it didn't seem like they were able to until he took that off.
It's straight up like there's no reason to even have it on. Like it,
I don't know,
like,
it-
what's
yeah.
gonna hurt him?
It seemed like he like nerfed himself. He was.
There's
Yeah.
a similar scene in Infinity War when once Thanos gets the second he has this, what does he have, the Power Stone, and he
Mhm.
gets the blue one. And after he gets the blue one, he just takes off all his armor because he's like, there's no way anyone can hurt me. Like I'm invulnerable right now. I think that
don't-
might be what Zod is realizing.
I think he definitely wouldn't need the armor. It's not gonna make him because they're tough as shit, obviously. It seemed like they couldn't fly when they had it on. Like I said, because it's when he takes
Maybe.
it off, he starts flying. That's like the only. If that's not what it is, that's just what it made it seem like to me. Because that's
Yeah.
what happens right
Well,
then.
yeah, kind of like I guess like the practical application for armor is to like you sacrifice mobility for like safety from like projectiles and shit.
Yeah,
That just doesn't exist there. So maybe Zod is like, I just want to be as mobile as possible because there's
yeah.
the armor doesn't give him any benefit.
Trying
anymore.
to overly practically look at this. It's just he doesn't need it.
He could have used
doesn't
the
need
neck
it.
brace. You know.
Maybe if he kept the neck brace on. Dude, so that's something else that people really and I will kind of agree with it. People really dislike this movie for mainly like not really being like a very hopeful movie, like because they still imagine Superman as always like the super positive like older movies. Like I forget when they came out.
70s.
Oh, more
Christopher
very
Reeves ones.
real campy, and like
Truth,
lighthearted.
justice, in the American way.
Yeah. So they didn't like how dark. I don't even think this movie was really that dark. It definitely has darker, like it's filmed darker than all the other ones. It's definitely not all bright
Yeah,
colors, but
They shot it in a dark filter, but
yeah, exactly.
Yeah, that was kind of Zack Snyder's.
Once again, though, I do think they
MO.
could have played up Clark just being a nicer guy and stuff throughout the movie, and that would have made it better. Would have made it 100% better. But yeah, what do you think about him killing him at the end? Do you think it like ruins the movie, or do you like it? Or
I like that.
No.
It's
Oh
fine.
my God.
I liked it.
I like
Not
it
my
because
complaint.
I don't think
That-
really Superman also has a thing where like it's like he doesn't kill, he just doesn't need to in most cases. Like
Well, he didn't want to.
There's
Yeah.
a million
Yeah,
things
you
wrong
want
with
to.
this movie, like the darkness or like the how Superman was portrayed. Like wasn't one of the issues for me.
I know, like, well, I'm just saying
Yeah.
people were
I know
upset.
Yeah, okay.
a lot of Nate's right. A lot of people did not like that.
No, I believe
ending.
that. Yeah, I believe that.
Wait, really?
But I kind of did. I liked how Zod cornered that family, and Clark knows, like, really, he has to like make the choice that they're like Zod is beyond redemption. Like he
No.
has to make
Oh yeah,
like a
Zod,
pretty
they
heavy
make
choice
sure you
there.
know Zod's fucking nuts. At
The
this point.
Yeah,
the sort of squashing of the naivety that you can just like solve every problem by either just like talking out of it or just beating them
Yeah.
into submission. Sometimes, and like again, if Superman is going to be Superman, it's kind of like how you see.
Yeah, it just goes to accepting what
You
being
have to
Superman
accept
is.
that like
Yeah.
you are gonna have to kill somebody someday, and you have to know
Yeah.
when and where it's gonna happen.
In Superman's case, it's never gonna be in self-defense. Like him and Zod could probably beat
Yeah.
each other up for 1,000 years, and no one will die. Like
It was
he
al-
has to,
it was
like,
only in
decide
that moment
that's-
where he brought in those people, those uninvolved
innocent people. Yeah, it's pretty good. I like that.
That
Yeah,
is
that's
that is actually true to the fight too that I really like. So they're beating the fuck out of each other like through space and everything, but when they land, they're fine. Like they're not even hurt. And until
Yeah.
he does attack those people, there's not even like a threat to Clark really at that point. Like they're fighting, beating each other up. I'm sure it hurts, but they're clearly not like gonna die or anything. And until then, he's
wanted to
not
see
even
what-
desperate to end it.
They do this at the end of the fight, but they do this throughout the entire movie. I don't know what to call it other than the home run shot. That's what I'm gonna call it, where it's clearly a camera set in a CGI thing, and it starts like zoomed out,
It's-
and then
that-
they act like the camera has to find something, and it like shakes
That's
around and then finds it.
It's called a snap zoom. But these are all
Yeah, but it's like a
these
it's
are
like
all-
a shaky one.
these are all
It's-
digital.
It's not
though.
like
that's,
set
That's
up.
why they're digital. Snap
Yeah,
zooms.
it's like it's clearly a
You're saying it
digital
like
shot.
looks like some dude like trying to like find where the action
Yeah,
and then
like,
boom.
Yeah.
yeah,
I know-
and then
I know
Snap
what you're
is
saying.
zooming to it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I didn't have an issue with that, but I was wondering because he does it a lot in this.
It
movie.
happens
Like there's probably
constantly,
like
yeah.
20 of them,
Yeah.
and they do it at the very end when the fuck it. It's a really cool shot when the satellite's burning up and they're part of the debris.
Yeah.
They do it there. 'Cause I was wondering if that like, bugged you guys or if you even cared about that.
I always like
Not
that. No,
really.
I like that part because when he's like slamming him into the museum or whatever they break into, he's like got his hand in Zod's face and Zod's just fucking screaming like a maniac as they're getting slammed into the earth.
Yeah, I feel like the point of that shot, especially because it's like it's filmed like someone's holding a camera because there's like a little bit of shake to it. I feel like that shot is supposed to make it feel grounded and like you're from a person's point of view. But like it happens in the middle of the desert, and like it's like I know there's nobody there to watch this. Like, there's nobody beholding this shot.
No one was
Interesting.
just
I didn't know
It's
that.
like it's like in
It's
Mario
interesting.
64. There's like a cameraman following you the whole time.
What is that guy
Is that true?
That's
Yeah, you don't
that
remember
was
that?
that was Nintendo's rationalization for the 3D like perspective. Is that there's
Yeah,
a,
there's a guy
there's
following
a
you
there's
on
a
the camera.
Koopa following you around with a camera. Looking
That's
at
It's
you.
not
awesome.
called a Koopa. He's like a whole different type of enemy.
Oh, you're right. It's not a Koopa. It's a whatever,
Fuck.
whatever he's called.
Bring it up later.
Yeah.
Put it in post. Put it in post.
I had a question for Chris specifically.
Hater.
I know
I'm
you
a
hated
hater.
the dialogue, but I don't know why I really liked the line the Krypton lady said, where she was like, "A good death is its own reward," and then it came back in the end. I actually really liked that, but I feel like Chris would hate it.
There
I'm
were a
curious.
ton of like super like epic lines, but there weren't enough like actual character building lines. Like that's my complaint. Like
No, I mean, I would
sure,
agree with you on that.
whatever you said was like yeah, that's probably fine in like a regular
what you
movie
mean.
that like has like actual characters built up, but like I don't
They
know.
should have
The
definitely
lines fit
spent-
the characters, but they never really built the characters before that. Like I get what
Yeah.
you mean. Like the lines,
Yeah,
fit, but
They-
it's like
every
it
line
feels
is
a little
supposed to like
unearned.
really hit. Like it feels like what the director's trying to do, but
They
it's just like we need some like other lines first.
Mhm.
Nate,
They were writing every line, and they were like,
Yeah.
"Man, they're gonna love this." They're gonna freak out.
exactly.
Hey,
Yes,
And Chris is just like,
You know what? I kind of think it would have made a bit more sense if he was younger, because like
why is he 45? Like, why is he retiring?
because like all of
Was
those
Henry Cavill even that old in this movie?
I don't know.
he probably was like 30 or something. I don't
He was 26 and they made him play a 33-year-old.
know.
More importantly, do you think Henry Cavill's natty in this movie?
Nah,
Because he's clearly not like
not a
2%
fucking
body fat.
God, dude is natty in
Here's-
this movie. Did you see
Here's
this
my
motherfucker?
He's sexy. That's
my
for sure.
theory. My theory is that Henry Cavill is natty with TRT. So he's not like
Is anything
super
CGI?
gearing it up. But I
He's
think that it's
definitely not.
like
Was he CGI? Is that what he
Was he CGI?
He
Add a little CGI pecs or whatever.
I think if anyone
Did they
was
put
able
her
to
on Arnold Schwarzenegger's body over Henry Cavill. That's what I'm saying.
if anybody here got a doctor to prescribe them like a healthy dose of test where we had like higher than normal, I think we could get to where Henry Cavill. Like if you 10 out of 10
I'm already-
training, 10 out of 10
all of us
diet,
combined.
Why-
would be
why would we need that?
test.
Why would we need testosterone?
Well, because Henry Cavill definitely did. Like, let's not kid ourselves here. Like, he's definitely,
He
you know,
was fucking
pinning up.
huge.
Well, yeah, but like, why would you need to go to the doctor for us?
His chest looks like two
Testosterone.
balloons.
Well, what are you gonna buy it from somebody who made it in their bathtub? Like, what?
Yeah,
You can do that if you
he's saying
want.
we just
That's what
have
Walter White
insane
did.
amounts of testosterone already.
Yeah,
We're
we
yeah.
locked
have
and
like
loaded.
testosterone that is like optimized for you, like that, like TRT.
Yeah,
Like,
it's like in my body
if,
right now.
Yeah.
yeah, but you can get
Yeah.
more.
Yeah, but what I was thinking is they could have probably cut like the first 15
If you want all your
minutes
hair to
down
fall out, Sam,
and just
I guess.
included more character moments, like where people got to like hang out and just like see who the fuck Clark Kent is and stuff. If they would have made more time for that,
No,
It
but
would've
not the
been
first
better.
15 minutes. The first 15 minutes are fine. It's that hour and a half straight of just pure action that needed to be cut down.
all right, yeah. Well, the first 15 minutes definitely could have been cut down too. I feel because I definitely feel
Right.
the Krypton stuff goes on a little long.
I actually disagree. I really like the
I thought the
Krypton
start of
stuff.
the movie was fine.
If everyone wasn't like a moron, I would have really liked the Krypton stuff. But, you know.
What? I don't
Well,
even know.
Any
What that-
Was
character
the-
made appropriate decisions at any point in this movie, it probably would have been a decent movie.
Well, what did they do wrong on Krypton?
Just
Besides-
everything, every
the
decision
Zod
the
ruined-
Kryptonians made was stupid as fuck.
I don't
agree.
think they were supposed to make a right decision because they destroyed their planet. So they
Yeah,
probably
they made
did
bad
something wrong.
choices.
I know, but I'm saying like what Sam was saying earlier about if it was Brainiac or someone, some
Yeah.
reason where it didn't paint them as just being completely just inept and just not capable. Of
Wait, so wait,
anything,
what
right?
was-
Well, the problem with it is you see like they're super futuristic and smart, but they were also so fucking dumb and inept that they just let their planet get destroyed. Like there was somewhere they could have did something.
So wait, when
They should have been able to find a
Zod
new one.
when Zod was attempting his insurrection at the beginning, like what was his solution to like saving the planet? I don't remember.
I think realistically, a lot of them didn't. I don't think they actually
I
knew it
don't
was going to explode. I think Jor-El was the only one that knew it was going to explode.
Did they
But
blame
Zod-
the Superman?
Zod
for
thought
the-
it was like they were falling, like they were failing as a race, is what it was.
I don't know if
did
this is
Zod
what
blame
happened,
the
but this
dad for it?
this might be headcanon.
I don't know.
Say that
I
again,
don't
Chris. Sorry.
I was just asking, did Zod blame Superman's dad for the fall of Krypton?
No.
No. He said they were.
No, he
together,
agreed with
like,
him
basically,
actually.
yeah.
Yeah, they were like buddies, but they
Oh yeah,
disagreed
they
about what they should
agreed
do
that like
after
Krypton
that.
was gonna
The methods
gonna
by
shield
which
that.
they should-
Yeah. What are you saying, Sam?
Was this is probably me headcanoning right now, but was General Zod going to abandon Krypton and then establish Krypton on the other planets, like with the world builders? And
That's what I thought.
Jor-El, Russell Crowe, was like, look, if we do that, we're just gonna fuck up the other worlds too. Like we need like a complete reset from like everything. Is that what Jor-El was doing
I
versus
forget-
Zod?
no, he said
Sounds about
something.
right.
He said something about them trying to do that, but that they had already wasted their time. Like they didn't even have time to get everyone off the planet at this
Why
point. I
Earth?
think is what
But
it was.
couldn't they
Why
have
did they
gotten a
choose
couple
Earth?
people off? Like they could have gotten a few people off to where they're not
they
borderline
could've, but
extinct.
I think that was part of the point too. Was that with Zod was he was like who decides who lives and who doesn't. You know, that's what he said. That was the whole point.
So everyone
Anybody's
dies?
better than nobody. Like,
Yeah, like what?
you could- I don't
Basic
know, dude.
utilitarianism.
Yeah, I would agree too. But
One
I
person
What would
dies,
have got sent to the Phantom
General
Zone?
General
What would've got
Zod
Phantom
was just
Zone?
No.
General Zod was just gonna pick like.
What's the
random
Phantom
people out
Zone?
of
We never
shit.
saw the Phantom Zone.
Oh, it's,
Yeah, we
like
did.
it's that prison
Just-
dimension. Yeah.
Did we
Separate
actually
dimension.
see it?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah, they're in it for a
He
second.
But did we see how they got out of it?
yeah.
Yeah, they used the
There is a
Phantom
scene.
drive.
What would they
Can I
just tell
can
you?
I just say
There's an entire
Lego
scene dedicated to
Batman, Lego Batman does the Phantom Zone way better than this movie. I don't know if you guys have seen that, but it's actually way better.
Is it
I've
Is it-
seen-
how do they do? Is it like a pane of glass? Because they did that in like some
It's
Superman
in that
show.
one movie. It's in the old Superman 2 movie where he throws it
How-
and they go into the Phantom
how-
Zone.
How do they do the Phantom Zone in the Batman core?
Well, they
I
just get teleported, but then they actually like show like that it's like a different
Oh,
world.
what
They
it's
show
like.
like what it's like. Yeah, they
Yeah, it's
they
like a
explain it a little
Dimension or something.
Well, because
It's
like
a different
yeah.
dimension.
this
It's a
was
pocket dimension.
in this movie. I thought it seemed like it was a place that existed like within our reality because they're able to travel out of it.
No, they had to send them in through a wormhole.
Okay.
That was the thing.
No. They get
Because
out.
they shot him in those rockets.
They get out when Krypton explodes. And
Yeah, but
I
they're in
thought
it.
that was because Krypton, whatever they were creating it actively, and then when the planet exploded, they were free because you know.
Didn't they
No,
say it
it-
took them like
it was the
it took them
portal
like
to
30
different
years to get
dimensions.
out?
Yeah,
'Cause
no,
Clark
they-
was a
Yeah,
baby
they-
when
and
they
they-
got
well,
sent.
they had to go through the hyperdrive, and
They used the
and- and
Phantom
other
Drive,
people.
They had to
Which-
travel. Yeah.
which
They
is
also-
what they used to travel to the Phantom Zone, and it put it to the ship, and that's how they
Well,
got
they
out.
couldn't leave because they didn't know where Superman was until he put the shit in the guy.
Oh, that's a good.
Yeah.
Yes, maybe there's
So-
a bit of a. I see where you're coming
They
from.
were
Cole,
they
now. I
were
didn't think about
loose,
that.
The
but
monkey
they
skull.
just weren't. They weren't on the way.
Yeah, well, they got out of there using the Phantom thing to put it to their ship. I remember that.
Yeah, they like re-engineered it.
Yeah.
I don't think that's right, but
They were gonna
no,
starve.
they
So
did.
That's what they did.
They re-engineered like the some drive into like a hyperdrive or whatever.
Phantom
yeah, the,
Drive.
the Phantom Drive.
Yeah.
Yeah,
that's how they made it to Earth. That's not how they left.
no,
the
they were out. No, see, they were out for like 30 years, but they couldn't get to them because they didn't know where he was. And then
Why did they need to go
That's what
specifically
Cole
to
said, yeah.
Earth? Then?
Yeah,
That's
but
my
he
whole
was they had been out
He's-
for
he's
30
had-
years.
Other
and had
people,
gone to-
other outposts had died.
Yeah.
They go to the.
There's no
Yeah.
other inhabitable planets.
When Superman activated the
Does not.
outpost, and they found one that was working. When Superman put his thing
dad
in.
Found
They wanted the codex
Earth
from
in
Superman.
2
That's why they
seconds.
came to Earth.
Yeah. No, that is
Why?
true.
No,
Yeah.
no.
Did they need it, though?
Krypton found Earth.
Guys,
somewhere
you
Krypton
keep,
found
guys,
Earth.
you keep forgetting they can't have kids. So that's why they kept dying off on other
They
planets.
can have kids. They just don't. want
No, they can't. No,
They're
they
not allowed
can't.
to.
That was their first natural
can,
birth
'cause
in 100 years.
Yeah,
I,
they're just
I
not allowed
think-
to.
I don't think they can anymore, and that was the first time they'd made it happen in 100 years.
I think they just didn't try. Because
I thought it was that they couldn't anymore. I thought they were infertile, but maybe
They were
I
I'm
thought they
wrong.
were Vol cells.
eugenics or
That's
whatever.
the, that's the. I thought they. I think they're also vol cells. I'm not sure.
I thought they were infertile, but maybe not. I thought that
The
was what
point
happened.
is, none of this was explained well enough, obviously, because we're arguing.
I guess that is the thing.
Yeah.
If they could just terraform any planet, they're gonna terraform the planet anyway. Which I realized. Spoiler alert, Chris, but like Justice League,
Whoa!
the movie, the 2 movies after this one has like the same plot as this one, or that's
Yeah.
what
Yeah.
what's his name, Steppenwolf wants to do. Is just terraform Earth into whatever.
Yeah, for
Whatever.
Darkseid.
Darkseid's planet.
Oh yeah, that's right. That is the story for that one. That movie kind of sucks.
that movie's
so.
pretty bad.
Yeah, the
Well,
Snyder cut is
I
way
have
better.
not seen the Snyder
The
cut.
Snyder
yeah.
cut. Look, guys, the Snyder cut is better. I'm not gonna say it's
Yeah,
way
that's
better.
a.
Well,
But it's-
That's
I haven't
it's
seen
way
it,
better,
so
but
I
it's
don't
not-
know.
That doesn't
Well.
mean it's great.
Yeah, it's better. It does not mean it's great. It's definitely better.
Yeah, that's a good way to
Hey,
put it.
Sam touched
Justice
upon
League is
it.
probably like a 3.
Sam touched
Justice League
upon it
is very
earlier.
bad.
Sam touched upon it earlier. I do like as a whole, like conceptually, like the characters independent of these movies or whatever. I like DC more than Marvel. I like those characters. I like Batman. I like Martian
watch
Manhunter.
Yeah,
All
Okay,
those
watch
people.
the DC
Yeah,
animated
Flash.
universe.
Yeah,
I
exactly.
agree. DC is better. Yeah.
Yeah.
They just fumbled.
Shameless plug
really
for
hard.
the DCAU
Yeah.
because they're like you watch those 80-minute R-rated cartoons and you're like, damn, if this movie had like the budget of one of these movies, they would be so goddamn good.
Dude,
This would be the
Those-
best
those
live
ones are
action
like-
movie ever made if it was done
I
well.
don't
Literally,
remember.
yeah.
I don't remember what it was called, but I saw it like on Adult Swim like years ago, where it was like a DC animated movie where these it's gonna sound like not like make any sense. I don't know what it's called, but it's like it was a bunch of like dinosaurs from like a different dimension came to Earth, and it was like really violent. I remember like there was a lot of like gore in it.
It was
but
it
it was
was
a decent
probably
movie,
it was probably Vandal Savage. That's where I think.
I don't know.
He was a Neanderthal who fell asleep
Yeah,
next
he
to
lived
a
forever.
meteorite
names,
and he got
dude.
irradiated.
Vandal Savage is
Yeah.
immortal.
Yeah, he's
sometimes
immortal.
The reason, sometimes the reason the Justice League gets together.
Yeah, he's a cool character.
Or the-
DC
or the-
has a ton of cool stuff.
Who's the anti-Justice League?
The Legion
Oh,
of Doom.
League of Villains,
Oh,
right?
is it the Legion
Right.
of Doom?
no, the Legion. John's. Are you talking about the Justice League? That's like the literal copies. Like there's there's Owlman, Supergirl.
No,
Are you talking about that one, or are you talking about the one with Lex Luthor and like Deathstroke?
With
like
like
Deathstroke,
Deathstroke,
yeah.
and Deathstroke and stuff.
That's the Legion of Doom.
Yeah,
Oh, is it really? Yeah, the
Yeah.
Legion of
Yeah.
Doom.
Every villain.
They're cool.
Animated movie.
They're cooler than
Justice League Crisis on Infinite Earths with Owlman and Supergirl. That's actually a really good one.
That is a
I'm
good
just
one.
saying, like, DC has never made a team that's like as good as the International Justice League of Super Acquaintances from SpongeBob.
true.
The
They don't have-
Never
Quickster.
matched that.
Yeah, the
Krakatoa!
the Quickster was like actually invincible. Like couldn't be defeated.
Flash,
They got-
yeah, the
yeah,
Flash
fire.
got
He,
nothing
he
on the-
defeated himself. Like that's the only person that could defeat Quickster.
I still think it's hating super hard on Man of Steel. Like this movie is not that bad.
Chris, do you like superhero movies in general?
Yeah, I think they're good. Like
Okay,
they're not
'cause-
like my like favorite movie ever to watch. They're not like
Yeah,
the
no
first
one.
movie I
Yeah,
think of.
that's how everyone
But,
feels.
like,
That's why this
Yeah, but
movie's
Man
the
of
best
Steel
ever.
is exceptionally bad compared
It's
to an
the
average
same
Marvel
as
movie.
any other movie. Like,
I don't-
what
see,
Marvel
no, 'cause,
movies
like,
do you
the
watch?
Somebody
Marvel-
speaks in thesis statements.
The Marvel
I
movies.
said this off recording, but you guys didn't hear. The way the characters talk to each other in this movie is not good. It turns me off. It takes me out. It
He
completely.
completely loses his heart on,
See,
so he can't finish.
Yeah. Like my dick is fucking
it
soft.
turns me on.
I stop beating off immediately when they start talking.
well, wait. If you're
The
gonna
way the characters talk to each other
Henry
are not
Cavill's
the
in
way
this
the
movie, man.
character
Come on.
are not the way that people talk to each other, and that's my issue. It like I lose the immersion factor when like people make decisions in their speech that don't make sense. And
I think
that's kinda
that's
like
fair, considering where this like franchise went. To say that DC doesn't have the smartest writers working for them, I think that
Yeah,
history
that's
has
definitely
validated Chris's point.
I didn't get that from the dialogue, but I don't think this movie does anything. Again, we were talking about this offline a little. I don't think this does anything offensively bad,
No, it doesn't. Not really.
especially compared to what followed it. Because
And
like
you have to separate it.
in
I think.
Batman versus Superman,
have to look at
when
this movie by
Batman
itself.
just straight up murders people, and he doesn't care, doesn't blink an eye. Like that's like the Batman thing is that he doesn't kill people, and he just
Yeah,
straight
that
up
is
does. Like
literally his character.
Superman doesn't like
That is-
smoke cigars and like call women legs. Like that is like the level of like offensiveness
to that
Batman
movie's
has. Like
defense, though, at least that's supposed to be like the Dark Knight Returns kind of version of Batman.
yeah,
but
it's
the whole point of the Dark Knight Returns Batman is supposed to have setup to it. Like
Yeah,
you're supposed-
that's what I know that. Yeah.
it
just
just isn't
Right,
that.
but in
Just a
this
serial
movie,
killer.
in this movie, it's not like Superman makes
Murdering
decisions that
people.
Superman shouldn't make. It's that Superman makes decisions that
Superman
no
just
person
articulates
ever
him like a
would make.
fucking hick. He
No
articulates
person
him like
ever
a
would
hick,
make.
Give me,
And I
Chris,
don't
give me an
wanna hear
example. What's a bad
Yeah,
Superman
what is it?
decision?
It's in the conversations. Like it's hard to describe specifically, but in the hour block from the 15-minute mark in to the hour 15, the characters' motivations and the way that they like just naturally talk to each other just doesn't make sense. And
think
so
I need an
can
example.
never. I literally
I feel like
bring
I
up
can give an
any line.
example.
Like if you're watching this podcast, look up
Wait.
random fucking dialogue from Man of Steel, and you'll see what I'm saying.
Do you guys?
we
think
haven't talked about
that-
this scene, so I'll use it
Okay.
as an example.
Yeah, I need some.
when
example.
Superman's getting into. I really like this scene when he's in the interrogation room and he's talking with Lois Lane, and she's like, kind of like, why are you wearing handcuffs? And he's like, it's for them, like clearly for show. Like
And then they
Fine.
can
I
go
like
paper,
that
yeah.
interaction he has.
Yeah,
And like at the
that's
end
fine,
when they when he starts this like tell them like I can see through the two-way glass, I can hear you. He like stands up and just breaks it like nothing. He's like, let's put our cards on the table, Colonel. Like,
when
it's
he
so
first
good. That's
when he
such a good
first
line.
meets Lois Lane, Lois Lane doesn't react in a way that's like, oh my god, this is fucking Superman. She just like goes on about her day, and Superman's
There-
like, I gotta do this. They just don't interact
she's-
in ways.
No, when
Like,
they
it's
first
very
meet,
hard for
is
me to
she's
put this into
she's got
words.
that hole in her stomach.
Yeah,
Yeah, I'm trying to think of what
And he
the fuck.
saves her.
I don't think that relationship was done that well.
it was.
I don't think so. I think they should
all,
have given
all
more,
the relationships in the movie were bad though.
they should have given more time to the characters. I absolutely agree on that.
It's tough because this is already such a long movie. Like I bet that there were a lot of scenes that got cut.
Well,
But they should have cut
They could have cut the action and
scenes.
shit down to make it more character.
I don't think the Krypton scene needed like a space battle and like there could have been like one fight scene on Krypton, but there's like 4.
Yeah,
I
you
think
don't
that
need
could
to
have been cut.
with stuff like that. That's the funny part. Just leave it up to their imagination, and it'll do better. Like, because you're not going to give the
Yeah.
full story anyway, so just don't show them much at all. And
Do you think they were just really excited that they had Russell Crowe, and they were like, "We're
They
gonna."
did. They
strike
they
Yeah.
milked.
guys
They
next
milked
weekend."
every bit of Russell.
That's
Crowe.
true. Russell Crowe's really. I think he's really good in this movie. I think
Yeah.
all the actors are, but like
Yeah.
Dude.
Russell
The
You
acting
Crowe's
is
gotta-
the biggest strength of the movie.
Did
Just
you
on
say
the
what?
dialogue.
Shout out to
They
Kevin
were really
Costner.
acting the fuck out of that shitty dialogue.
They were like they did great considering the shitty lines they had. I feel bad for everyone who acted in this movie. I'm sure they feel the same way that I do.
They
That's-
really
They got some shitty dialogue and
Chris-
they made it work.
Because
I'll give it to you, Chris. It's a unique take.
yeah,
I've
because
never
like,
heard someone
because
complain about it.
the dialogue is just kind of like Sam said, just like inoffensive to me at least. But like Chris, if you haven't seen it, a subsequent movie in this franchise for you that I think you'll love is the Suicide, not the Suicide Squad.
Oh yeah,
2016 Suicide Squad. Talk
Oh,
about
I've seen,
best
Suicide
movie
Squad.
ever.
I've seen Suicide Squad multiple times.
You
It's a-
would love
I've
that.
never seen that.
I-
movie.
the dialogue
I've
is
swi-
far
I
worse
have
in that movie.
suicided multiple times, and I'll have you know it's a better movie than Man of Steel.
No shot. No way.
You're
No.
just,
You know
no.
what?
See, you're just
Yeah.
saying that to hurt me.
No, that I do not
It
agree
is.
with that. No
He's
way.
just making himself sound like an asshole.
Wait,
bro.
Chris,
That's not even make
do you
sense.
mean
Like, you can't say that?
the rebooted one from like a few years ago or the 2016 one?
2016.
Oh God, no. That's just
Yeah, that's
objectively
just
wrong.
I think,
Better-
I think
better
the,
movie than Man of
the
Steel.
worst DC movie with dialogue is if you guys have seen Wonder Woman
Wait,
84.
Which
No.
one without dialogue is the worst one?
Yeah.
Okay.
The best silent film.
I have
that
not
DC
seen
has made.
1984.
I have not seen neither.
I have not
Pretty
seen. I heard
terrible.
it's terrible. Though the
It's
first
pretty
Wonder
brutal.
Woman, pretty good. I don't care.
Yeah,
what
yeah.
anyone says.
Yeah.
I like
Wonder
that
Woman's
one.
pretty fucking
First
good.
Wonder Woman. If there's a DC movie that's better, a DC universe movie that's better than Man of Steel, it's Wonder Woman.
I think I
Wonder
like,
Woman is
I like
kind
Wonder
of
Woman more.
Absolutely better than Man of Steel. That
Yes,
is not
I
even
agree.
close.
I mean, I
Wonder
wouldn't go
Woman
that far.
suffers. Wonder Woman suffers from the same problem the first Captain America movie does, where it's like the first 2/3 is
The
really,
first Captain
really
America
good.
movie is really good. I
Then-
don't care what anyone says.
The final third, like the last act and like the boss fight, is just like, what is happening right now? Like, where did this go? Like you blew it at the end.
My favorite
Yeah,
part
but-
about watching the OG Captain America is watching him throw someone through a propeller blade and then being like, "Oh shit! Like this isn't a
Dude,
Disney movie."
It's a phenomenal movie. I really do think
I
that's,
love
those
the
are the best
original
ones.
Captain America.
I've
but
never
people
seen it.
Of the
fucking hate on
Marvels,
it.
the Captain Americas are the best. We'll have to suggest it. Maybe I'll just start being the superhero guy from now on, because
Oh, yeah.
I would love to rewatch that
I have
movie.
some superhero movies on my list.
So do I. Yeah.
We gotta watch a bunch. So, does anybody have any more topics to go on to? Chris, I know you had a lot of hating to do. You got a lot of hate in your heart today.
I kind of hated my way out. Like I felt like
Who knew,
I feel,
who knew Nate was?
I feel like anything else I would say would be one note, and I don't want to be that. I don't want to be a one note guy.
I don't want to be a one note Susan. So
Yeah.
You want to hit us with a rapid fire, Chris? Just read the bullet points.
I think Chris wants us to be like surprised when he has something to say, not like expect
yeah,
it
he,
coming.
Yeah,
no, he
true.
wants us to all
That's
be
true.
like,
Yeah.
he wants us to all be like, wow, Chris, that was such a good point. I didn't even think about that.
He wants
My
Chris place his
my-
arguments in the middle of conversations to derail them. Then we have to like go talk and address that before we can get back on track. The fact that you said Suicide Squad is better than this movie, I haven't even seen Suicide Squad,
He
and I know
just-
that,
Yo,
that
in the
can't be true.
comments,
He
which
just
movie is
said
better,
that
Man of
shit.
Steel or Suicide Squad?
Yeah,
We're gonna put up
Squad's
a
kind of
poll.
overhated. I feel
As
like.
soon as we
Oh,
get 500
poll.
subscribers, we're putting up a
Nah,
poll on the
first
community
Suicide Squad's
tab
pretty bad.
to determine which movie is better.
Yeah, no one fucking cares what you say, Chris. Like,
Who knows?
You
Who
just
knows?
ruined all
we
of
might
your
be
integrity.
we might be in the midst of a Suicide Squad revitalization.
Renaissance.
Yeah, Renaissance. Yeah.
Ooh,
The
ooh, I
suicide,
gotta-
the suicide renaissance.
if
Suicide
we
Squad
all
held
had
a pay.
powers, what do you think they would be?
Now, like, there's
Oh,
something
shit.
that's just like
It's
naturally.
gaslighting people at that power.
Yeah, everyone believes your gas.
I don't think it is, Nate.
My
I mean, it's
power-
cool that you feel that that's a power, so
Guys,
maybe,
stop
but
fucking with me.
Well, everyone
Yeah.
else say your powers. What do you think you would have?
What do you mean? Like, what
uh,
do you think we
what-
would have, or
what do you think, or
what do
what?
we
Just
want?
like, yeah, just what you think you would have.
Well, then someone should say it for you.
Oh, wait.
No,
Yeah, what do you
Yeah,
think?
No,
I'm
you-
too shy.
Hey, you can't pick your own power.
Chris's superpower
No,
is
'cause-
being a
no.
shy little guy.
No, because my
I know
power.
Chris's would
No.
be invisibility.
No, my power
Chris's
is that
would
I
be
have all the
invisibility.
powers.
yeah,
absolutely.
Chris would be invisibility, and he'd sneak into the girls' locker room. Like,
My power is
Disappear
that I
for 2 weeks.
My power is that I have every power.
oh,
No.
no.
We're doing people powers. See, that's what you can't pick.
I have every power plus infinity, so
I think Nate's
have the
power
power
is
to take
just the
people's
power of
powers
hating.
away.
the power of hating.
Ooh, that's
Dude, I'm
actually a good one,
professional
Sam.
hater.
The power of
I like that
negativity.
one.
The power of negative. It makes me stronger.
What would Cole's power be? I'm trying to think.
We'll
It's a
be
tough
like
one to pin down.
the jokester.
I'm waiting.
If he makes a joke and you laugh at it, then he,
Cole would be like Plastic Man. I feel like he'd be a stretchy guy.
Ooh, that'd be
Cool,
horrible.
I think
that-
that fits him.
Chris could be Stretch. He could be Mr. Fantastic.
Being
No,
supernaturally
Cole's
huge.
definitely Mr. Fantastic / Plastic Man. Chris is Invisible Guy. I think Chris Invisible is
boy.
pretty. That's like
Invisible boy.
the easy one.
What's my
What's
actual?
Sean's-
what's
what's
my
Sean's
actual
power?
power? Yeah,
I think if someone was gonna have time travel as a power, it would be John.
I like that.
John,
I think
John is
think
just
John would,
Doctor
because
Fate.
John would be Dr. Fate. I really do think that.
He's doomed.
That's
to
100%.
an unfathomable power.
John's cursed with the most overpowered shit ever.
Power, magic, wisdom.
I think Sam would be just be a Fortnite character in real life and just build shit all the time.
Oh,
Sam is just Wolverine if he wasn't Canadian. There you go.
Oh, okay.
I like
That's
that.
good. Oh, Nate.
Well, it's
you
Nate.
got
We
the
didn't
power.
pick Nate.
I
We
thought I
didn't
was.
give Nate.
I thought I
Nate's-
was the hater.
No, Nate would be the heater, and he would have like the
Heater.
powers.
Fire guy.
Nate is the power of hindsight.
The more hating I
But-
do, the more my flames burn.
Yeah. In order to get flame on, you have to think about something that you hate.
Yeah,
Is Nate, like, becoming
we're
sane?
just really fucking angry.
Nate has to see some busted sneakers and start hating on them.
I gotta get really riled
Some
up.
shacks, some Fubus.
Oh,
Nate's got to touch a pair of Fubus to get his flame on.
Those are sick.
Dude, we just created the best Justice League ever.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We got the hater.
The
What
heater.
was cool? Or the heater. What was
I'm
cool?
Plastic Man.
Cole's Plastic Man.
Stretchy guy.
Mr. Fantastic. Yeah, stretchy
Invisible-
guy.
Yeah, stretchy
Invisible
guy's
boy.
way better.
All right, so
Invisible
put a
boy.
period on the end of the sentence. I think it's time we spin the wheel.
All right, I guess-
Mr.
I guess-
Fate.
Chris
You
is
guys,
sleeping.
are you guys
Man.
ready to spin the wheel?
Okay.
I
I'm
don't
ready
wanna,
to spin the wheel.
I don't want to assert myself. but,
Professor
like,
Professor Fate.
I think I want to have my superpower of being able to summon the wheel of it.
Oh, the wheel of fate. Yeah.
yeah, exactly.
What's written on
this
the
movie-
wheel is it cannot be changed.
We have no Sam.
What the fuck?
Sam's a
is
bitch.
that?
We have no Sam.
Is that a
What
tape?
is
Is this a
that?
giraffe?
Is it a tapir?
A
Is it
tapir?
Sam?
I think it is a tapir. Yeah.
Oh, it's
Oh,
Oh, shit. Wait.
Fuck.
Right in the middle?
Oh, it was so close to name.
Okay, all right.
Bullshit. I wanna-
This is I'm doing it. We're
Don't.
really doing it.
Don't.
We're doing. I'm recommending anime.
I
Hell
know.
yeah. I did not expect that. Hell yeah.
Someone had to do it. It was gonna be
I'm
me.
excited to see what you pick.
I'll just get out of the way. Little movie. I
Oh.
guess kind of lower key. Well, out of like anime films. 5 centimeters per second. I think from
Oh hell.
2007.
This will be
I want to say.
the first anime movie I've ever watched.
There you go.
Not what I would.
Or-
have
Watch that
expected
one.
on
Movie.
including-
What's the one
including
anime
TV.
movie that like everyone's seen?
Spirited Away.
Spirited
Yeah,
Away.
I've seen that. I've
Yeah.
seen that.
Never seen that
I
movie.
can't wait to learn Japanese for this podcast.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah, you have to learn it to watch the episode.
Before we
Wait, what
go,
movie?
we got shirts. They're pretty rad.
They are pretty hard.
I ripped
Sam,
off
where
Andy
can I buy
Warhol.
one of those?
What kind of material, Sam?
It is 100% cotton from El Salvador. I'm pretty sure they just put a bunch of people in jail. Something happened in El Salvador that was
It's
wild.
safe now.
Support the El
It had- it had-
Salvadorian
it had
Italian
nothing-
Fire shirts.
It had nothing
Look.
to do with our shirts.
Mhm.
Look,
I
they
just
got
wanted
they
to
got this
clarify.
cotton way before. They got this cotton way before
Yeah.
that happened. So,
It's not a,
but yeah,
If you want to
I
support
ripped off-
developing nations, buy a shirt from us.
yeah. It's this is Andy Warhol's design, but I read somewhere recently that Andy Warhol had an IQ of like 87. So, you know,
Mine's
what's he gonna
better.
do about it?
Yeah.
That's impressive.
Come back
The
to
fact that he
life.
did all that with
The fact that he
Yeah,
did
it
all
actually
that while he was
surprised
being
me
a
like
fucking
crazy.
dumbass, like they're
You know,
super,
that's
they're
like
super, they're super you guys.
14 points below average. It's actually wild.
Now that's too particular of a number. He definitely like intentionally like got questions wrong. Obviously.
We need to make
Could be.
Chris take an IQ test because he's kind of hating right now, and I don't. We got to see what he gets.
Yeah,
Yeah,
you
we
need,
gotta
you need a,
compare.
you need a certain level of intelligence to understand.
I'm hating
Yeah,
on the
Sam.
I'm hating
And-
on the viewer. Not
Man,
you
it's-
guys.
Sam, where can we
And-
buy one of those shirts if we want one?
The film layer, film friend. It's in the
film
bio.
layer.
It's
In
in
the
there.
description.
The film layer at Spreadshot or Spreadshop,
The-
something like
the
that.
film
It's in the
foundation.
description. If
Okay,
you get,
goodbye.
this
It was
is like
fun.
Is it available
basic
in all
quality
regions?
Much love.
probably, dude. It ships third-party logistics, so
They
I
made
don't
it in
know.
Colombia. so-
Mine shipped UPS, so wherever UPS will send it. Sorry, DHL bros in England.
Thanks for watching, everybody.
We love you.